Hello, I'm Janna, and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. Today, we're going to be playing with a brand new tool that I just got my hands on. I am going to be using the Sizzix stamping and stenciling platform with the stamp spinner attached to it. Today, we're going to be building some wreaths with the spinner. If you'd like to see exactly which supplies I'm going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. Today, we're going to be playing with a brand new tool that I just got my hands on. So I've heard a lot of interesting things about the Sizzix stamping platform and spinner. So this is supposed to allow us to make a wreath. We've got all sorts of measurements on here. We've got a halfway point going in both directions, and then this is split multiple times. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pie pieces. Now, the neat thing about this is that when you turn this, it's going to click exactly into place each time you want to add a new element. So we're going to be trying this out today, and we're going to be creating a fall and a winter wreath. But before we start stamping, we need to open this up and add some sticky grid. So this is the sticky grid. Just peel off the covers on this. Oh, that's must be pretty sticky. All right. And we're going to place this down and use that as part of our guidelines. So looks like that's supposed to go right here. Good. And now we'll peel up the other part. Okay. There we go. Oh, okay. We've got that backwards. All right, so we'll just have to flip this over. Not a big deal. Let's try that again. All right, so that's going to go right here, and this will go over here. All right, I'm going to enjoy this while it's nice and pristine, because that won't last long. I've got cats, and cat hair gets everywhere. All right, so let's just see how that lines up. Not quite lined up, and I do want this as lined up as possible just to make things easier for putting stamps down. So it looks like this is going to be a little bit picky when it comes to alignment. So let's see what we can do. I'm just going to take this and try to get both sides as close to perfect as we can. All right, that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to check that again. All right, now I can tell with the lines that we're looking pretty good. I've got my center line. This one's a little bit off, but I think we're going to be okay. All right, so we're going to open this up, and we're going to put down a piece of glossy cardstock. Today we're going to be working with Distress Archival inks. So how do I want to line this up? Well, probably something like this. Is that even? Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need to go over one more square to make that absolutely center. So let's try that. Okay, so that should be pretty lined up. Let's go ahead and check that. Yeah, that looks good. This is a bit more picky than I was expecting, so that's something to keep in mind. If we want exactly centered cards, then we have to be right on the dot when it comes to the grid paper. All right, now I'm gonna start with my fall colored wreath first. So let's pick some colors. Let's go with some crackling campfire, maybe some wild honey. Let's see, what else do I have? Ooh, fossilized amber, that'd be great. Maybe a little bit of vintage photo, and maybe a dash of rustic wilderness. Okay, that'll give me a great palette to work with. Now for the stamps. So I'm going to be pulling in some seasonal stamps, and the nice thing about these particular sets is that you can really get them to tilt towards fall or Christmas, all depending on how you color in the stamps. So here, this is Styled Woodlands CMS 210. I, in particular, wanted the bow from here, and I also wanted this little sprig here because it's got a pine cone on it and some pine needles. So I'll take those from that set. Then we're going to take a look at winter watercolor. Now, I've got all sorts of different leaves and greens that I can tweak to match our fall theme. So this is CMS 354. To start with, I want that branch. That will be very useful. And let's see. I also want some of these leaves. Oh, what else would be useful? This other branch here, that looks good. Ooh, those could make some really good fall berries. Okay, so I'll use those pieces from there. Now, one more stamp set. We're going to be pulling from Yuletide Gatherings. This is CMS 390. I'm going to take that one right there. Definitely the pine cone. And maybe another sprig of spruce or pine. Okay, so we're going to use those to start building the wreath. Now, for the direction of the card, typically I prefer up and down, but for this one I really want to work in landscape. So let's take some of the twigs. We'll have that become our base layer. And I'll start with some vintage photo. But the main thing now is to figure out placement. So wherever the bottom is, it's going to be our starting point. So let's try that. Is that going to be good? Yes, because I'm going to put the bow in after the fact. All right, so I think I want to stamp that on every section. So let's see how this works. I'm just going to take our stamp and we're going to add our ink. This is interesting. This is a bit of a construction process. So press, we've got our impression. Now we click. Oh, that makes a satisfying click. I do like that. Add a little bit more ink and stamp. There we go. Okay, I'm starting to see how this is working. That's interesting. All right. Click. Add more ink. Ooh. I'm definitely intrigued. This is doing something magical. I like it. So my guess is this is going to be kind of time consuming, but it's also kind of relaxing and fun because you're getting a fairly instantaneous result. Now, the only thing I'm not liking is that I didn't quite get my alignment perfect. It's not quite as centered as I would have liked, but we're just going to run with it right now. I'll try on the second card to be even more centered. The nice thing is, just like the Tim Holtz stamping platform by Tonic, if something doesn't quite stamp right, you can stamp again with a second layer of ink. So that part I do like. And click, stamp that. Ooh, And one more. Okay, so here we go. This is the beginning of our wreath. So far, I'm absolutely intrigued. Okay, so that's a great start to the wreath. Now let's go ahead and add in another layer. I think I want to do the orange layer next, and we're going to be using these leaves. Those are good. So if I can kind of space that in between there, let's go ahead and pick that stamp up. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to do one more round in real time, and then we'll click it on fast forward as we do the last bits of the wreath. Ooh. Okay, need a little bit more ink. There we go. So click. So that's going to be really useful. It's going to allow me to not lose my spot. And I like that this is making the wreath perfectly circular. That part's making me really happy. Okay, so I think we're going to go all the way around with this. I don't think I'm going to go all the way around with all of the pieces, but let's see. I want to kind of get some layers built up first, and then I'll figure out the rest of this. But it's looking like I can build up some really nice density. That's really, really cool. So the color that I'm using right now is Wild Honey, and this is one of the mini Archival distress inks. All right. So once I've got a pattern going, if I ink it first and then I click it, it's easy for me to keep track of what I'm doing. But if you've got this tool, you'll have to find what works for you. I've heard different things from different crafters, but for me, inking then clicking works well. Okay, let's take a look. Ooh, I love it. Very, very cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this part on fast forward as we fill in our next colors. Just for reference, we're going to be doing some fossilized amber, a little bit of rustic wilderness, some crackling campfire, and a little bit of ground espresso. Okay, and check out the wreath. I love it. So much fun, and I'm loving the fall colors. So the last couple of things that we need are, first, we're going to need a sentiment, and I decided to pull in stamp set The Scarecrow CMS 451 because it has the perfect sentiment. Happy fall. All right, so we're just going to take that. We'll stick that right here in the center. So I'll just quickly pick that up and we'll stamp that in black. There we go. And it didn't quite come out. Let's try again. Perfect. There we go. Super happy with this. Love it. So we built a fall wreath. Now before I can call this card complete, it needs just a tad of shine. And for that, we're pulling in some Distress Spritz. So let's just move the stamping platform off to the side for a moment. There we go. And we'll put this right down here. And let's see here. For spritz, I'm going to want some fossilized amber, I think. Or do I want barn door? Ooh, so many choices. Let's see here. Definitely not picked raspberry. Maybe barn door. Not walnut stain. Ooh. Spiced marmalade. I want one of these three, but the question is which one is going to go best? All right. I'm leaning towards the fossilized amber, so let's give this a shake. All right, and we're going to give this a quick spritz, just for a little added sparkle. Okay, and that's great. Let's pick this up, take a closer look. We got the spritz on here. All right, we're going to set this aside for now, and we're going to start on our winter themed card. If we can do a fall wreath, then that means we can do a winter one. So let's bring back the platform and we'll reload and then pick some new colors. Okay, so I want to line this up. Now I want to double check the bottom because I didn't like the alignment. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I was off just by one square that way. And let's check this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where it is. It's that last little quarter that I need to split in half. Okay. That should be right on the nose for centered. Okay, there we go. All right, let's give it our best shot. So now we're going to be switching over to winter colors. So let's see, speckled egg, evergreen bough. Put back some of these others. Definitely some rustic wilderness. I'll probably still need the pine cone color. Okay, let's see what else do I have. Yeah, I'm gonna want some vintage photo. Ooh, and maybe some prized ribbon and faded jeans. So the question is, am I going more for some blues? Yeah, I really want to go for the blues right now. So let's swap out the rustic wilderness for some salvage patina. Actually, you know what? Evergreen bough will be fine. Okay, so I think I've got the colors that I want. There we go. I've got 6 colors ready to play with. Not sure about vintage photo yet. And just put these out here just so I can see what I'm doing. Just kind of thinking out loud. Okay, evergreen bough, we'll use that. I want to do a darker base with the twigs. I've got all sorts of other stamp options, so let's see what we have. Ooh, that would be a really good one. I can use that. And I like that for the berries. Okay. That's not bad, but I kind of want something else. Do I? Yeah, you know what? I do want the purple. Probably Villainous Potion. And we'll move the berries to that. And that leaves me with one more slot. So let's put this one there. Okay, great. And I'll have the wreath as well. That's going to need a bow. Again, I think I'm going to start with the sticks and then we're going to build from there. After that, we'll go for some of the evergreen branches and then we'll get smaller, I think. Okay, so we have got a plan. So I'm going to stamp part of this in real time and then we'll switch it to fast forward. I think we'll do 2 again in real time and then go from there. So I'm just sliding this around and let's line that up as best we can. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to start much the same that I did earlier, starting with our branch, but this time I'm inking up with prize ribbon. There we go. And then we'll click and then ink. I'm not sure which way I like better, clicking first or inking first. Haven't decided, so I'm just gonna work my way around and go from there. Okay, so this is just the start. I like the foundational building. That part is definitely enjoyable, because then you get to see how everything comes together. Ooh. Oh, that's interesting. Now I kind of did the reverse. Now it's a little bit too far in the other direction. That's okay. We'll make it all work. Maybe I'll flip this later and have the other side be the side that has the bow on it. We'll have to kind of wait and see. All right, one more click and there we go. So we've got the beginning of our wreath. Okay. Now we're going to go in with some evergreen bough. Let's see. I think something like that. That'll work. All right. And inking it up. And this one I think I'm going to do a complete rotation as well. I'm not going to start skipping until later on. Oh, forgotten what evergreen bough looked like. All right, there we go. Okay, now we're starting to get some mass built up. So for substrates, I decided to go with the glossy cardstock. This is typically the alcohol ink cardstock. But you definitely could do specialty stamping paper. I think even using the regular Distress Heavy Stock White would work very well too. But I decided that I wanted to go with the glossy just because it plays really, really nicely with the Archival inks. Okay, and we're moving into the home stretch for this circle. There we go, another click, one more, and the base of the wreath will be done. Okay, not bad. Let's go ahead and put the rest of this on fast forward. Okay, here is the completed wreath. I love the detail on this and I'm really, really happy with the colors. So the last thing that I want to do is to add some spritz. And for spritz, we're going to be pulling in Uncharted Mariner. So let's give this a really good shake. Okay, and I'll add a little bit of sparkle to this. All right, perfect. There we go. We got our little bit of added sparkle. Here are our 2 completed cards using the Sizzix stamp spinner. I am so happy with the way these wreaths turned out. We ended up doing one for fall in fall colors using Distress Archival inks with a dash of fossilized amber spritz. Then we switched themes to create one for winter, again with more Distress Archival inks and a dash of Uncharted Mariner spritz. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner. And until next time, happy crafting!